Did you miss the party in Argentina already? Well, today we are going to discuss. A question that I got a lot is if already past the time in order to invest offshore, do something like that in Argentina on the next couple of years. And the answer will be no and yes. We're going to explain. First, let's discuss a little bit, the benchmark on Argentina on 2025. The country, since Milei took office on late 2023, the country was on a high inflation rate, one of the highest in the world, poised to become hyperinflation. The sentiment was bad. The markets weren't as great, were pretty bad actually. The country's risk premium was on a sub-Saharan level, something like that. That means that in order to Argentina, in order to receive a loan, an international loan, will have to pay a hefty premium. That translates that's basically how you rank an economy on how developed it is or it isn't. And Argentina was, on a very, very low level, low trench regarding, their economic status, using this particular indicator, the main indicator of economic development, that is the country's interest rate. And also you have to add that Argentina had this particular history, the past 100 years, of economical, let's say, mayhem. So when year is good and bad and good and bad and good and bad, it was the richest country on per capita basis over 100 years ago, but afterwards has been the standard of living for the average Argentinian has been dropping down and dropping down and dropping down on the past 100 years or so. Of course, remember, this is a Latin American economy, but still, Argentina has always been considered an underachiever for macroeconomic purposes. Also, on street level, boots on the ground, the country was actually fairly cheap compared to the ROI that you get regarding cost of living. So renting in Argentina was cheap, eating out, getting the meat, that actually the quality of the meat in Argentina is superb, is excellent. And if you've been in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, you know that. The wine, of course, excellent quality. The infrastructure of Buenos Aires, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, one of my favorite cities in the world, actually. However, the sentiment was negative, but you got the perk of being, on a nice city on an affordable budget if you earn on hard currency. However, on the results on the last few months have been very positive. Javier Milei is actually cutting fiscal spending, heavily reducing the inflation rate. The nominal inflation rate, however, the city right now and the country overall is way more expensive on hard currency terms, USD terms, let's put it like this. So if you come from abroad, it's not gonna be cheap compared to just a year and a half. Basically, the country is 3-4 times more expensive compared to just a couple of years. Also regarding investing, real estate has gotten way more expensive, especially in Buenos Aires. Also, the Argentinian equities has gotten, let's say, have been up. The benchmark for the Argentinian market, the Merval, is close to all-time highs on USD terms. Remember, this particular market trades on local currency. And of course, right now, Argentina is not a novelty, it's a developed, quote unquote, developed economy. Many investors all over the world had put their eyes on Argentina Also, something that we explain here in the channel many times, it's the RIGI, is this particular great investments regime created by Milei. So basically, big companies can invest starting on 200 million US dollars, make a large investment capital in the country regarding, mining, energy, infrastructure, things like that. Of course, several companies had invested already in Argentina. The sum right now, just for the last year, is over 10 billion US dollars. So that means more capital, more high-end jobs, more investments. So this thing is compounding every single day. So right now, Argentina is not cheap, it's not uncharted territory, it's a way developed country regarding on how the investors are proceeding. So the answer will be, if you're an investor, is too late to invest in Argentina? Well, the answer is no, if you are fully committed in order to do something about it in Argentina on your particular, let's say, your particular profession, your particular skill, your particular industry, if you are committed long term in order to make something happen in Argentina, I think right now actually is a good time in order to do the due diligence or, testing the waters, but not with both feet. But knowing that if you're going to do something about Argentina, it has to be for the long term, not just a quick speculation. Now, if you are a speculator, it's too late for Argentina. I will say yes if you want low commitment. However, if you are just a speculator and you have some capital to work around, there are a couple of things on how you can play out Argentina. Of course, depending on your risk tolerance, so it depends on your capital and your realistic expectations on the country. Now, if you want to treat Argentina like it's a meme coin, a meme stock, something like that, well, yes, on this particular case, you are too late. Now, let's say you are a digital nomad, a traveler, someone like that, someone that wants residency, things like that. Are you too late? Well, you are late depending on your budget. Let me explain. First, regarding traveling, the country, I'm never gonna say that Argentina is too expensive to visit because it's such a beautiful country, especially Buenos Aires is a beautiful city. So you always gonna get, bang for your buck. However, it's not gonna be cheap right now, so it will be like visiting New York or London or Miami or Dubai, a place like that. And also, Argentina is very far, it's on the very down on South America, and the plane tickets are never gonna be cheap over there. I mean, they're cheap at least. So yeah, on that regard, for visiting, it's not gonna be there cheap, but always you're gonna get value on return for the country, especially if it's your first time. You're gonna be, amazed on how beautiful the country is and how beautiful the city of Buenos Aires is. Well, now let's say you are a digital nomad, but you are on the low end of the digital nomads, making, let's say, like $1,000 per month, something like that, or a couple thousand. On that regard, yes, it's completely late. I know several people that took advantage of the arbitrage on hard currency a couple of years ago. It was great. It was awesome. However, that window is closed, has been completely shut down. And yeah, Argentina is not gonna be for you on that regard if you're looking a very dirt cheap location for digital nomads. Now, on the provinces, especially on the south, could be interesting. Still, if you are on a tight budget, I don't recommend it. And lastly, let's say you are shopping for a second passport, a second residency, something like that. The answer is maybe. And it's gonna depend on your commitment. The good news is that it doesn't require that much financial investment. It's not a CBI, it's not a golden visa that you need, something like that. The requirements actually are quite straightforward. Milei is changing a couple of the requirements. It's going to make it a little bit more harder, but not that difficult. But it's mostly for countries in South America that basically they can become Argentinian residents very quickly. But right now it's not going to be the case. It's going to be a little bit harder. It's not like he's shutting down migration to the country. But the biggest issue is if you want to migrate to Argentina and get residency or get a passport, a couple of things. The migration system has gotten, slower. And on the past, let's say 5 years or so. So I've been there, done that. It used to be quicker, like 8 years ago, 7 years ago or so. But right now is not as quick. Apparently, Milei is gonna improve that. He has a particular something similar to Doge in the US. Well, Department of Deregulation, things like that. But let's see what happens. But the biggest thing is that if you are not fully committed, if you want to treat Argentina like some cheap paperback residency, you are not committed in order to spend the time and the energy, that's where you are gonna get in trouble. So on that regard, maybe it's not for you. So money-wise, a good deal, not gonna cost you as much, but it's gonna cost you on time. Thank you for watching Continental Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media, and if you want to work with us, continentalinsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.